Welcome to the Girl Power Alliance podcast, where you're going to meet and hear from some inspiring women with incredible stories who are leading in business and in faith. We are on a mission to impact the world by empowering women to dream bigger through kingdom-minded mentoring and leadership. This is where women grow. Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Power Alliance podcast. I'm super excited about having my guest on today. We actually spoke a long time before we're recording. We had a backlog, and so we had to have our first conversation a couple months ago, but now we're finally to our recording date. So let me tell you a little bit about this beautiful woman. Annie Hillman is a bookkeeper, entrepreneur, wife, and self-proclaimed numbers nerd. I love that about you. While starting a bookkeeping business was not what she set out to do, God had other plans. She always knew that she wanted a career that allowed her for a balance with family time. So after several years in finance and some doors opened, Atlas Bookkeeping Company was born. She's now on a mission to remove the fear that surrounds business finances and help entrepreneurs realize the usefulness of their that their numbers hold. And let me just tell you, as an entrepreneur, working with women for years and years and years, this is such a needed service because women are super afraid of numbers, but that's a whole different conversation. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am too. Thank you for your patience and waiting from our first conversation. What did we talk? Let me think. We're recording this at the end of December. I think we talked in October.
Yeah, I think it was October.
You're so patient. Well, I'm super happy to have you. And I think, and you share this, you tell me if this is true, being that you've been in finance and now you're doing bookkeeping. I feel like women are scared of numbers.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of when I thought about my ideal client, I definitely lean more towards women because I do think that that's very true. Women tend to be scared of our numbers. And what I'm here to tell everyone is that we don't have to be. They're so useful and there's so much you can get out of it.
I'm excited that you're doing that. And so I read your bio, but share a little bit more about your background. So you were working in the corporate world, or just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was working as a staff accountant. I live in Napa, California, so I was working in a winery here doing that. And I loved my job, but I always knew that I wanted a job where I could, I've always known that I wanted to be a mom. So I wanted a job that I could spend some time with my kids when that day comes. But I don't have kids yet, but one day. And so I was approached by a friend of my husband's who needed some bookkeeping. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then I kind of realized I could do that. I could make this into an actual business. And so that's when Atlas Bookkeeping was born. And I decided to start looking for more clients, and they came, and I was like, this is awesome. I get to do what I love. I get to work with people who are doing what they love. And it's amazing. It's the best job ever, I always say.
That's, you're doing the right thing when you can actually say that. Because how many people do you know that get up every morning and they kind of have a little growl in their voice because they absolutely can't stand what they're doing? What a blessing that you are able to walk in not only your skill set, but in something you're really passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. It's been amazing.
So how long have you, when was the transition?
Yeah. So I started Atlas in February of 2020. So it's been almost a year.
Oh, geez. Right before the pandemic started.
I know, it was crazy. So I started in 2020, and then my original goal was to quit my full-time job around May or so. But with everything with the pandemic, I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit, maybe wait on that. And then I ended up just getting enough clients to leave my full-time job in September, which was definitely bittersweet. I loved working there, but I knew that this is where God wanted me to be and where my path was taking me. So yeah, it's been almost a year.
Wow. So many things happened in 2020 that have been like big time shifts. And I feel like based on our conversation before, I feel like God was like preparing you for, for this step out into the entrepreneurial world.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I was actually talking to someone a couple days ago and I just told them looking back on my journey now, it's like, this is where I was meant to be. And this is where God was leading me the whole time. I didn't know that at the time, but now that I'm here, it's like, yeah, this is where I'm meant to be.
It's funny because you're so early into the journey that I know that you're gonna look back and even see more things. Like it's a no wonder that God had this happen and this happen at this time because of what's happening now. And being an entrepreneur myself for almost 2 decades, I can tell you that it's a lot of things happen both on the positive and the negative, and of course, many, many, many pivots,
Yeah.
many pivots. But
Yeah.
it's an exciting journey to be on to really, I think there's more security being an entrepreneur than there is being an employee. Are you feeling like, was there a mental shift that you had to make, kind of, being used to going to work, following instructions and getting a paycheck versus you're creating it now?
Yeah, no, there's definitely been a huge mental shift. It was interesting because I'm very much a good I'm good at doing tasks that are given to me. So, working for someone else and working under our CFO was easy because I just had the tasks that I do every day. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but I also love it because like you said, I get to create, I get to create my day. I get to create what I do. And I like to say, I get to be the master of my own time as opposed to someone else doing that for me. And that's been the hugest adjustment, but it's been amazing. It's been the best adjustment. I love it. I never want to be an employee again.
Oh, I know. Once you've opened that door, it's real hard to close
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
So when it comes to kind of feeling like, so if somebody's listening to this, right? You have a woman listening and she's where you were, let's say a year ago today, feeling this maybe call, feeling this urge to do something, but kind of thinking, maybe that's not God. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. I'm too afraid. What advice would you give to somebody that's, a year behind you?
Yeah, that's a great question. My biggest thing is just pray about it and pray about it and keep praying about it, because that's what I did. And I feel like for a long time I felt that way. I felt, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? But if you just pray and you look at scripture and if what you're reading or what you're wanting to do aligns up with what God wants for you, then I think that it makes it a little bit easier. I don't think it's ever going to be easy to take that leap and to jump out there, but you have to have your faith and you have to have a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Just a little bit of courage to do it and hope that this is the best. Because I don't know that I ever felt 100% God saying to me, this is what you need to do. But I felt like things were lining up. And that is what gave me that courage.
That word courage, it's such an important word for what you just talked about, because I think that in general we think that it's courageous when you take a step and you feel all this confidence and no fear at all, but that's not really what courage is actually taking the step when you're terrified. And so, for those of you that are listening, and if you listened to the top 20 of 2020 podcast, one of the things that we talked about was the fact that, in my experience anyway, God does not lay out in general like all the steps. He'll lay out the first step. And as you move, as you take action and you are in motion, then he will lay out the next step and the next. And so it does require a lot of courage and a
Mhm.
lot of faith,
Yep.
really.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's called a leap of faith, right? We have our faith, but we also have to take a leap and hope that this is what God is putting on our heart to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now, okay, so you're here, you've taken the steps, you're not working the traditional 9 to 5 and you're only doing this now. What lies ahead for you? What's next? Is it time to start a family? Like where are you at in the process?
Yeah, so my husband and I are actually in the process of looking to move out of state. So that's a big step that we're doing, and also in the process of starting a family. So a lot going on behind the scenes, but also a lot going on with Atlas as well. And making in the process of kind of introducing some new things that we're going to be doing at Atlas, which is really exciting. So kind of growth everywhere, which is crazy, but I love it. And
Exciting.
it's super exciting. Yeah.
I mean, literally, I live for growth. So, what's the new stuff? Tell us a little bit about specifically what it is you do at Atlas and what's new that's coming.
Yeah, definitely. So I focus on monthly bookkeeping for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And so what that means is that all your expenses and all your sales that you get in a month, I put them into your accounting software, and then I give you all the reports you need. We look at your profit and loss, and we look at any other reports. I just told a client yesterday that I like to make your reports customized so you get what you need out of your numbers, which is my mission, is what I want for everybody. So that's what I do on a monthly basis. New things I'm rolling out is I'm going to start doing some budgeting, helping clients with budgeting and doing budget versus actual analysis. And that's a big one for 2021 that I'm very excited about. Another thing is I'm going to be rolling out a DIY option, which I find really helpful because there's, in the beginning, some people might not, although I in a least biased way as possible, I believe that everyone can benefit from monthly bookkeeping, but some people prefer to do it themselves. So I'm going to be rolling that out in 2021. And the last thing I'm rolling out is CFO services. So these are more elevated services that include partially the budgets, but partially more elevated analysis and projections and that kind of thing.
That's kind of a lot of new stuff. So
Yeah.
that's 2020. I mean, you have a lot of things moving, maybe out of the state. Where are you guys going? Do you know?
We're looking at Texas. So my husband is in viticulture, and so there's a Texas viticulture is kind of up and coming right now. So we're really looking to move to that area, and yeah.
The great escape from California. So many people I know have literally like 6 people on my street have left since the October. So it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Well, those are all really, really exciting things. And since you started in February, are you still taking new clients? Where are you at with that?
Yeah. Currently, I'm still taking new clients.
Well, I just want to say this because I know even people that are not entrepreneurs. So, is your services only for businesses, or do you do personal?
Just businesses for now. Yes.
Okay. I know the reason I ask is I know so many women outside of business that just don't even have a clue how to just manage their own monthly budget, finances, and stuff like that. And if you're listening to this, I just want to encourage you. One of the things that really will help you to have less anxiety in your life is looking at the numbers so that you can make the best decisions. It really has so much to do with stewarding your money, stewarding just your life and all of the things that God gives you. And I think people bury their head in the sand both personally and in business because they're afraid of what they might see. But really that's a recipe for failure in both in business and in your personal life. So do you have what is your criteria? Are you small business? Are you a certain amount of employees? What is your what kind of clients are you looking for?
We take on various clients. I don't have a cap on number of employees or sales or anything like that. So we kind of like a broad range of clientele, which makes it fun for me. I get to work with so many different people from different industries, which I just love.
Does your when it comes to the day-to-days of your business and helping people with their bookkeeping, really their budgeting and their finances, bookkeeping is a lot more than just putting numbers on a page. But does your faith play into how you work that out in any way, shape, or form?
So yeah, I think if anything, my faith plays a part in every part of my life, or I try to. That's what I strive for. So it leads me, because it leads me to I want to help people. Like that's what we're called to do as Christians, right? We want to help people, and we live to a high moral standard, and I think that all of that plays a role in what I do for my clients.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And whether you are using actual scripture as part of what you do or not, as a believer, it's part of who you are. So it's hard to separate who you are from your business. And I have always chosen, if I had the opportunity to do business with people that I felt shared my faith, because of that, because it's not always the case, but your hope is, and your belief is that, people that are part of the family of believers, you're right. You hold yourself to a different standard. We have a different set of ethics and morals and even strategies when it comes to business that oftentimes literally like are like in contradiction to the rest of the world.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like you said, it's not a requirement that I hold for any of my clients, but it's an added bonus.
It really is an added bonus. So if you are out there and you're like, I have no idea, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants and, checking my account every day, but having no idea what comes in and goes out. I want to highly recommend, hiring somebody, and in this case, hiring Atlas Bookkeeping and Annie, because literally it could change everything for you. It is a well worth it investment for the long term of your business. And if you're somebody that's looking to build something long term, you're going to have to implement that at some point. So if people are listening or watching, how do they connect with you? What are your social media handles and websites and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, both at Atlas Bookkeeping Co. And then my website is just Atlas Bookkeeping Co. as well. If you want to send me an email, my email is Annie at Atlas Bookkeeping Co. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. If you're listening to this on any of the podcast platforms, all of her information will be available in the show notes. So you can just go there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, all you have to do is look right below the video and all her information will be there in the information. And if I could just do another another little quick commercial when it comes to your finances. I think people feel afraid to invite somebody into that for a lot of reasons, but like I said, I would always opt to work alongside somebody that had a foundation of faith and a moral compass that, hopefully, I mean, in your case of 100%, but like anybody listening, it's not 100% all the time for all people. So of course, do your due diligence on who you're working with, but you have one conversation with Annie and you can feel that she is pure and honest and real. And, you'd be very lucky to work alongside of somebody like Annie and Atlas Bookkeeping to really help get you on the right path.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So any last words for somebody listening? They're on the fence and they're like, I don't know if I actually need help. What is your advice to them?
Yeah, that's such a good question, and one I get all the time. And a lot of us, I get where you're coming from. If that's the way that you feel, I'm more inclined to do that. I'm a little stubborn, and I think I can just do this myself. And what I like to preach to everyone is, I know that you can do it yourself. But my question for you is it worth your time, or is your time better spent doing something, pouring into your business? And that's what you have to think about.
Like I said, it is a very well-worthy investment in the future of your business and just your peace of mind. Like just your peace of mind, knowing that is one thing that's being handled, that you can take off of your list of many things to do as a business owner and an entrepreneur or a solopreneur even. This is one of the like lessons as an entrepreneur that I feel it takes a long time for people to learn. In the beginning, especially, in the early stages of being an entrepreneur, you're kind of wearing every hat. But if there's one thing that you could take off of your plate immediately, it is this. It is the bookkeeping and the budgeting, so that somebody can look at the numbers objectively and say, here's what's going on, here's what you need to do. And that is the peace of mind that will offer you, I think will open you up for so many other things. So I appreciate what you're doing. I believe that this is I think this is a holy call. I really do. I think this is a holy call to help support, especially now. Small businesses need help. They really do. They need help. It's been a rough year for people that are in business, especially small businesses. 2020 has kind of kicked the crap out of them. So anything that can be done to take 1 ounce of stress off of them is such a blessing.
I completely agree.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. And like I said, check her information out in the show notes or in the information below.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. You know what really fires me up? It's connecting with women like Annie who literally want to honor God with their business. And there are so many of us. It's exciting, actually, to know that we are a part of a new category that is being created in the world of business for women. Women that are kingdom-driven, kingdom-minded, women that leave the worrying to God. And we know that if we do the work, that God will handle the result. And that is what Girl Power Alliance is all about. We are all about empowering, encouraging, and equipping women just like Annie, and probably just like you, to follow your call, the call that God has placed on your life. And we want to help you to turn that dream into a reality through all the resources that we have at Girl Power Alliance. You know, you can test drive the membership for $1.99. Head over to girlpoweralliance.com, click the Become a Member button. And by the way, registration is open right now for Radiant Leadership Academy. We start in May. And I am here to tell you that if you even have an inkling of a call that you are called to leadership, then you need to go check out the Radiant Leadership Academy. It is transforming lives. It is helping women to elevate their leadership in all areas of their lives. I like to say it is inside out leadership. Radiant Leadership Academy is absolutely God-breathed. And I am here to tell you that if you are really looking to connect the dots of your leadership, of your business, and your life, then Radiant Leadership Academy is for you. Head over there right now. Get yourself registered so that you can be part of our next class, which begins sometime in May. I don't have the date yet. It's up to whoever registers to see the common date that they all choose. But I'm glad God is on the move, and it's super exciting to be a part of it. Here at Girl Power Alliance, we are all about empowering you as a leader, as a woman, as a kingdom-minded woman that wants to go out there in the world and create an income while you are having a massive impact. That's what we're all about. We cannot wait to hear from you. Head over to girlpoweralliance.com, where women grow.